Hey guys, this is Jay Calder with Jay Unboxing here, giving you a personal prediction for Mikaela Mayer versus Alycia Baumgardner. And as always, this is just my take. Of course, your prediction can be left down in the comments section below. Would love to hear them all. It's a pretty interesting fight, kind of going under the radar due to the fact that it is a co-feature and not a main event, in my opinion. But it's still a very, very good fight. Certainly one that I think is pretty evenly contested. So, love to hear your thoughts on that down in the comments sections below. Little bit of fight info here. We have Mikaela Mayer versus Alycia Baumgardner. This is taking place at the O2 Arena in London, England, in the sort of co-featured spot for Claressa Shields versus Savannah Marshall. Of course, this will be airing on Sky Sports in England and ESPN in America. And this is for Mayer's Ring Magazine and IBF WBO Junior Lightweight titles and Baumgardner's WBC portion of the 130-pound gold. Now, naturally, the big female fight of the weekend for September 10th, the biggest fight of that weekend period, is Claressa Shields versus Savannah Marshall. That's the main event. We get that. That said, this is another compelling attraction in my personal opinion. A very worthy co-featured bout. Oh, how I wish male fighters would get along like this and put on better shows. Two girls that don't like each other, what else is new? And both have talent with some real fight in them, some dog in them when they need to. And it's for lots and lots of gold. What is not to like? Mayer's looking to stay perfect as a pro, but Baumgardner can win even more titles as yet another underdog in this fight. So it's certainly a fun one to predict. So let's break this one down. Starting with Mayer to win. For Mayer to win, I think you want to work that left hook. It's the best power shot Mayer has, in my personal opinion. It's certainly one that she's going to need to get busy and get going in this fight if she is to be successful. I also think it's a shot she wants to emphasize because ultimately I think Baumgardner is probably the better natural puncher. And while you don't necessarily need to knock her out, you certainly want to have a shot that keeps her honest and gets her respect early on so that it kind of tames her a little bit and allows for you to fight more of the fight you're looking to fight. You can also time her right hand, the right hand of Alycia, with the shot while moving underneath the danger. Lines up your own kind of right hand in the process. So you can throw that left hook while you're ducking under her shot coming in, especially if you can anticipate and get the timing down and allow for you to land your own counter shot in return and let you score double the shots you're looking to score there, of course. So certainly something that I would look to implement on the night. I would also say attack the body. Now, this can kind of help take away some of the speed and power that Baumgardner has, and she has a decent amount of both of those, so this is certainly something that you want to look to implement in this fight. It also allows you to get in work on the inside without having to open yourself up too much in terms of just going for straight up exchanges, which we'll get into in a little bit here. You want to be able to kind of at least tuck your chin away, land the body, tie her up if you need to, and just kind of wear her as this fight progresses. I think it doesn't need to be a completely dirty fight, but for Mayer to have the best success, it needs to be a little uglier at times, and this could be a way of getting that taken care of. And of course, this brings the guard down, which makes your target upstairs all the easier to hit, which who doesn't want that in this fight? And finally, I would say stay busy, but don't exchange. You want to kill her with volume, but you don't want her giving as good as she's getting. Make sure you're first and the last to land. That being said, that does not mean a straight up exchange. What it means is landing those shots, getting on the inside, tiring her up, getting her a little bit tired. As Baumgardner, I do feel may have a stamina issue, as I've seen in some of her fights and some of her training videos. She does seem to gas a bit, puts a lot into her shots. This is a way that you can kind of wear on her, especially as the rounds progress. And in those shorter frames, when there's less of them to begin with, you can try stealing some of those rounds with that kind of activity rate that you can implement on the fight later on in the round. Now, for Baumgardner to win, I think you want to get her backing up. Now, this can be done a couple of ways. Feints are obviously going to be very important, especially if she's already tasted some of your power and, of course, has certainly a reason to back up a bit more, but also some jab work. That's going to be very important too, and I'll get to that in just a bit here. Single or double jabs can work for you. This also means you can step into your speed and power more, which serves you best naturally. You can box, but yes, you want to make sure that your shots are landing, and the best way to do that is stepping into them and really putting some, a stamp on them as opposed to just flicking the shots out while you're backing away. This allows for you to use some of your personal strengths to your advantage by really stepping into those shots. I would also say work the power jab. This is the specific jab that I was talking about, one that I think will work, especially if you're able to land it consistently. It will back her up, but it also busts her up. It kind of works as a power shot in general, and then allows you for you to land those kind of quicker shots due to her getting kind of more used to that initial timing and speed. It just offsets her anticipation, which is what you're looking to do by switching up sort of the tempo of your punches. It also preserves some energy while still making your work count. It's a solid enough shot that it will hurt her, or that at the very least it can potentially hurt her, but you're not having to exert as much energy as you are with trying to land a solid right hand or a mean left hook. And finally, I would say land the overhand right. This is, in my opinion, the money shot for Baumgardner, the shot she's looking to try and land. The reach isn't a huge issue here. They're about the same in terms of reach, but that arching shot will help with the height disadvantage that she faces, she being Baumgardner. Mayer is a bit taller than her. It's also one of the harder shots that you throw if you're Alycia, and can be worked after that busy jab, and we've discussed that already, kind of preoccupies Mikaela. So it's certainly something you're going to want to look to implement. And it could be the punch that ultimately determines this fight. I think the more successful Baumgardner is with landing that shot, the better chance she has. If she isn't able to really get it going, she could be in some trouble. So it really is a fight-changing punch, in my personal opinion. Now, while the odds have kind of fluctuated a bit, Mayer is the favorite going into this particular contest, but in terms of my pick here, I actually am going with an upset in Baumgardner here. We'll get into the odds in just a bit, but I just think that she has a lot of swagger to the way she fights. She seems very poised, very sort of possessed in terms of her goal. She comes into the fights looking ready to land something serious and kind of knowing how to do so. She's trained very, very well. My biggest concern for her, the only concern I really have, is how well can she do later on in this fight, because I have potentially noticed a stamina issue for her. I could be wrong about that. And for her sake, I hope she can prove me wrong. But in general, that's my biggest concern. Outside of that, I think she can box as well as Mikaela can. I think she bangs a little bit harder than she can. And ultimately, I think that that's going to probably be the difference maker in this fight. Her punches will count for more in this contest. And I think that right hand will be pivotal to her success. I think she'll land it consistently, often. As the fight wears on, I think it will bust Mikaela up. She'll look to survive. I think she will. But ultimately, I'm going with Alycia Baumgardner via unanimous decision. Now, in terms of the betting odd here, Mayer, as I mentioned, is a pretty solid favorite. She was over a minus 300 for a while, but now kind of settled into a minus 275. So basically still a 3-1, with Baumgardner coming in at a plus 200. Honestly, not a bad line for either. Mayer is a solid favorite, but 3-1 odds aren't terrible when you would presume she's the fighter that promoters and such are going to want to have win this fight. She's the more bankable star to them, perhaps it would appear, based on the promotion. So, you're getting a fair return in the sense that if you think this is a close fight, the odds are she might be favored to win those kinds of decisions. That said, Baumgardner is where the action would be for me. Small to medium bet again for what I just mentioned, but I do think that she wins this fight. Do think she wins by decision, and at 2-1 odds, it's again small to medium bet seems like something that's pretty reasonable to me. In terms of the over-under, we have an 8.5 as the over-under, with over being at a minus 650 and under being at a plus 375. In my personal opinion, not a great deal of value there. Women fights usually go the distance. The odds do favor that. Anything can happen, but these odds do little for me personally just because of that fact. So in this case, I would kind of leave those odds alone. Again, I probably jinxed everything and it's going to end in the first round knockout, but that's just kind of the feel I get for this fight. The specific odd that kind of intrigued me the most was a straight up bet on Baumgardner by decision, which is a plus 460. Again, that's my pick. Naturally, those odds would entice me. Regardless, I do think this fight goes the distance. So with shorter rounds and only 10 of them, decisions can go a lot of different ways. But I do think if Baumgardner gets the sort of work done that I think she can, she has a really good chance of pulling off a unanimous decision here, or any decision would do well for those kind of odds. In any event, those are your odds. And my prediction record as of August 30th, 2022 is 27-8-1 with 10 exact. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Would love to hear your thoughts, predictions, bets, so on and so forth. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at jcalderon_JOB. And you can email me at jagonboxing@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you there. Also, be sure to check out jagonboxing.com for schedule, results, betting odds, rankings, and more. And as always, until next time.